Hello, so yes, I do have a version of the TimSav with the ZAxis, and I have been planning on eventually sharing out all the details in a nice polished form, and life has gotten in the way over and over again, and I haven't quite done that, so I'm just going to go ahead and let you know where I'm at right now with it, and you can take it and run with it. So, let's change my camera over here. So this is what I've got. You may have seen some other videos posted of it before, but the real distinctive feature, of course, is the Z-axis. I really like how the Z-axis is turned out. Let's see if I can get a better camera angle. So a few very distinctive features here. I used for the Y-axis actually, or no, Y-X. I know my coordinates. X-axis there, I actually did use the 2040 extrusion. I did that to give it more rigidity. And I think that's worked out very nicely. And the Z-axis is just a piece of that cut off, cut down to roughly standard TimSav length. But yeah, that kind of nice. It just leaves a good piece left over that makes a great Z-axis there. So some features that I really like about this. So if you'll notice, there's no welding tip here. I don't know how well you can see that. There you go. It's basically got a cluster of three bearings, the same size, standard TimSav bearings. A cluster of three of them arranged in this Y shape to keep the wire captive, and it works great. I use I think it's a 0.8 millimeter wire, if I remember right. But before I go any further, all these measurements I've got within Onshape CAD, and I'll just share the link out. I was, again, going to polish it before sharing, but I'll just go ahead and share. But yeah, I think that works really nice. It haven't had any problems with it, so yeah, there's that. And of course, this whole piece here is removable, so you can take it off and throw a pen on there or throw a Dremel tool. I use that for cutting out plywood parts, and that works nice. Got another feature here, using a motor, of course, but I've got a BL Heli S ESC here, and I've got some custom BL Heli S software that I run, and I'll share the link to that. But basically, it skips out some of the initialization so it doesn't pause and beep, and if it loses sync, it'll just pick right up and start going again. So good features for a CNC, bad features for a plane. So don't run, don't, excuse me, don't run that version on a plane for sure. Let's see, I guess as far as how the axis actually works, so I've got three of these wheels here. They keep it in place, and seems to do a good job. And I've got a gear here for the or a pulley here for the belt. And on the flip side here, let's say this is the real defining feature of this machine. So the motor, oh, this is awkward. All right, so the motor is captive between those two plates there, and it's got this extra large pulley so that it's got a 3-to-1 ratio, something like that. I found that to be important to make sure that the stepper had enough torque to hold the tool, especially if I'm using a Dremel. So this, of course, slows it down a bit, but gives it a whole lot more holding power. And with that, I haven't had any problems with skipping or anything. So again, works marvelously there. Let's see, I've got end stop switches throughout. I found that to be a nice feature. And here's another thing that I really like on this machine. So it's got, rather than just bare holes for the bolts for the wheels here, it's got this arrangement with, again, it's hard to see, but you can see it in the CAD very well, of course. It's got these sliding pieces here with some, I think it's M3 that I used, bolts for those. So you just tighten those down, and you can adjust the tension of the wheels with that. the tension, and even kind of adjust the angle if you see fit, if you need to. But that has worked very well. It holds no problem, and the tension, being able to set it precisely is very helpful there. All right, let's see, what else do I want to explain? Guess it's kind of a low rider here. I've got just these pieces on it for feet. Got some bolt holes so that it can be bolted down to keep it from moving. But yeah, kind of a low rider. It keeps everything nice and low so that there's kind of minimizing the flex. I get great cuts with this. Yeah, I really haven't had any problems, although I've also been too busy to use it for quite a while. I need to get it fired up again. Oh yeah, let's see, I've got also just using the standard Arduino solution for the CNC control with Gerbil. Here also I've got some customized software. So it's customized. Let's see if I remember the customization. So I guess one of them is actually that's another customization on the BLHeliS. It reminds me. So I adjusted it so that it has a smaller pulse width that it's looking at. So let's see. Maybe I'm not explaining it quite right, or remembering it quite right. But basically, I adjusted it so that I could set up within the constraints of the Arduino a good quick update cycle. Not that we have to. I guess I'm just a perfectionist, but tried to kind of optimize the updates so that it could send them out frequently and accurately. That was it. I adjusted it so that it could get good high resolution on the updates. So the Gerbil firmware that I've got is tuned to the BLHeliS, and of course that could be customized, depending on what solution you have. It can work with a regular ESC. It's nice to have the BLHeliS that isn't going to desync on you and stop cutting. And then some other customizations there. We've got, of course, support for that ZAxis. And so yeah, it is using that Z instead of the servo control. So it's actually using the servo control to control the speed of the motor, as is intended with Gerbil. And yeah, that might be the only customization for the Gerbil software there. And then let's see, anything else distinctive? Yeah, I did route my cables. This is Ethernet cable. I used, what did I use? I guess I've got power and a signal to the ESC, the unstop switch, and then the 4 wires to the stepper. But yeah, all that just routed through Ethernet, and that's been working great. And just kind of looping it over there, it keeps it out of the way and doesn't give me any problems. So I use the same thing on the y-axis there. XY. I don't know. It's early. I'm probably saying the wrong thing on axes, but yeah, I did the same thing here. So I've got Ethernet and then a USB cable that goes in there to the Arduino. So with the 2 channels there, I just route the 2 of them together. I put some music wire in there to stiffen the USB cable up a bit to make sure that it could ride correctly in there. Let's see if there's anything else that needs explaining. Oh yeah, so as far as the disassembly piece, I know that's something that people liked. I wanted to keep that, so it's just got the 4 screws there, and you pop those off, and the ZAxis assembly will pop off. It's got, again, for rigidity, I made this wider than the stock TimSav, and also longer that way, so it could get a better lever arm there and not wobble around as much. So it is actually quite stiff, I think, for a cantilevered solution. This is for this kind of design. I think this gets to a kind of an ideal configuration for this kind of machine here. Let's see. Anything else? Yeah, I think that's about it machine-wise. So, yeah, then as far as software, I've been working on the clean plans for a while. I've gotten to be annoyed at Inkscape. It has a lot of glitches. It really just isn't meant for CAD work. You know, we can bang it into shape to do it, but it just isn't really meant for it. So I've been working on a browser-based UI with the clean plans, but well, as I said, life got busy. I'm in a new house this year. It did a lot of. It was a long year, so yeah, it got a lot busier than I thought. So again, I'll publish out what I've got with it, and you know, at this point, if people in the community want to take it and run, you know, please do. You know, can submit PRs back, and I can look at them and merge them as I'm able. But let's see. Yeah, so I guess generally what I do is just use my the clean plans, just command line. So once I've cleaned up an SVG file, it's ready to go. I just run a command line to generate the G code. But yeah, that's you could actually use just about anything for it because at this point it's a normal CNC. It doesn't have any that weirdness with the TimSav where it's using a servo for the Z control, which CNC software doesn't expect that. So yeah, by doing the having a real Z-axis, it avoids that problem. And then actually just one other thing I'll mention that I remembered, the other customization with gerbil. So again, I guess I'm a bit of a perfectionist, but getting this square, it rides in a channel here to, which you can't really see so much, but when you look at the CAD plans you can. But basically there's a groove channel here where to keep this in place. And it's never going to be perfect, so in order to get it dialed right in, there's an adjustment I added in the gerbil software where you can basically give it a skew amount, so it'll basically compensate for that and put it back into square, so you can get it dialed in so it's very precise. And well, as I'm calling myself a perfectionist, I think that's actually important. I've cut out and put together some planes where you start folding things up and angles are just off a little bit, and you can kind of mash it into place, but then you're going to have a wing that's a little warped, or whatever, or a fuselage it's a little out of square. So I think it actually is very important to make sure that what you're cutting is as square as possible to just avoid all those issues. So let's see. Yeah, I think that's everything. So well, hope you enjoyed this video. Kind of long, of course, but yeah, I wanted to give a rundown, and no time like the present. So I'll post this, and I'll post the links, and well, enjoy.